Hi, everybody. I am Tiffany Smith. I am a licensed professional counselor. Here's where I offer words of encouragement from a biblical and therapeutic lens. So, if you like that, then I want you to please like and subscribe. And to start today, I just want to say something that I haven't said before is your girl is really big on transformation, okay? So, I really don't think anybody needs any more resources. There's enough books, there's enough podcasts, there's enough stuff that you can purchase and YouTube videos and social media and TikToks that will help motivate you or give you resources on making changes. So you really don't need me to tell you stuff that you already know. So today I want to just kind of give you a call to action because a lot of us are full and our bellies are full, our minds are full of resources, right? But then how many of us though still feel like by the end of the year we're in the same place we were before? So what is the issue, right? What is the issue? What is stopping us? And so I want to address today structure and discipline, okay? But I want to come at a different angle because y'all, we know enough, right? And they say when you know better, you do better. But many of us feel like we're spinning our wheels, and by the end of the year, the studies show that very few people, maybe like 1%, have met their goal or stuck with a plan that they had in the beginning of January, right? And so let's kind of increase that number into something that is showing that we're making progress, right? And how do we do that? First, let's read Luke, right? So get a pen, get a paper. I want you to write some. Okay, here, get get a pen, get a piece of paper, get a journal, and I want you to write Luke 14:28. Very familiar passage, right? Which states, "For which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish it?" And I find that many of us, one of the biggest struggles that we have when we're making plans and we're trying to think about what we want and what we desire is there are steps we miss. And there are things that we need to do to be better prepared for what we're trying to accomplish than we are actually doing. So, for example, I had a good friend of mine at one time. She had sat and talked to me about some ideas that she had. This friend, I think most of the times I talk to her, she has a different plan, and never quite finished the first thing, right? But always had ideas. Now, what I loved about her was she was a creative, right? She was very thoughtful about things that she wanted to do but lacked discipline in order to finish it. And that's something that I think many of us struggle with. And when I was having a conversation with her, I kind of was like, maybe you should try the other thing that you told me about that I thought was something you were really passionate about. Complete that and let that fund the other things. And she says, Tiffany, you're so sweet. You're so nice and diplomatic because I shared the same idea with another friend and she was like, pick one and yelled at me. And I was just like, because a part of me wanted to yell at her too. I was like, girl, you gotta be more intentional about finishing things. But I actually do understand, we laughed about it, but many of us do the same thing. We have great ideas and great visions and we are praying about things. But the discipline to finish things, we all fall short at that. And part of it, well, a lot of it is that we don't count the cost. And what I mean by that is maybe we're too busy comparing our journey to other people, or we're reading these resource manuals, or we're watching these TikToks, but we don't know how to apply it to our specific situation. Right. So, for example, SMART goals, something that therapists talk about all the time, right? Which many of you know. And if you don't, it's just a simple acronym for goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time based or time sensitive, right? So, for example, if you have two women, 50 years old, with a goal to lose 25 pounds, right? A lot of times they go on these websites and they are looking at these meal plans, but they don't know how to apply it to their specific situation. So if you have two 50-year-old women who want to lose 25 pounds, but one has a chronic back condition, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, a heart issue, right? And the other is no chronic conditions, very healthy, strong support system, very motivated, type A, and wants to lose it and is more likely to stick with it. Is there a guarantee that both will complete that goal? No, right? Let's say the other person, right, the one with chronic conditions, what if she meets the goal and the other one doesn't? What happened? Right? What were the factors that caused one to meet it and the other one not to? It's counting the cost, right? So let's say this one who was relatively good health, her biggest issue is that when she didn't receive results fast enough, despite having being in relatively good health, despite having a good family support system, well, she got impatient. And when she tried to be consistent and she wasn't seeing the results fast enough, she gave up. She probably needed something in her goal setting that the other one didn't, which is therapy to help her with issues with self sabotaging, impatience, confidence. Whereas the other woman had those things in place, right? She was in therapy, she worked with her doctor, even though the on the outside it looked like her the likelihood of her meeting that goal, most people would hear her that she had chronic conditions and be like, yeah, she's going to struggle, right? But she was like, oh no, I'm not, I'm going to get this, right? And she went to physical therapy, she worked with her doctor, she worked on her medication management, she joined a group, right, of other women that would be supportive, and she stuck to it, right? So who says, what is the difference? What are the factors that supports one over the other? Discipline, counting the cost, right? So really quickly, I want to give you something really simple. I want you to get a notebook and I want you to write this down. I want you to write in a notebook daily routines, right? Flip the page, weekly routines. Flip the page, monthly routines. Flip the page, yearly routines. So each page, I want you to write your list of daily habits, weekly habits, monthly habits, yearly. Okay. And it should help you find gaps and what you do well and what you don't. Because many of us, when we are getting down to the nitty gritty of what our days and weeks and months look like, we realize that there are things that we need to put in place that we don't have, or things that we need to take off or put in, right? So, for example, a daily habit could be something as simple as reading your Kindle. So, one of the things, if I could share with you, that I use is I have a Kindle. I love a good love story. um, and I try to read daily. And my monthly habit might look like trying to complete at least one book in my Kindle a month. So this would be on both my daily habit list and my monthly is complete one story a month, right? I also daily use an adult coloring book. And I want to tell you specifically, this one is Joanna Basford's World of Flowers. I really like it. It's super detailed. But one of the things in daily habits that I learned about myself is that I get bored, right? So I try to stick with a routine and be consistent with it. And then I realized, just like many people, that it definitely represents my daily habits, right? Which is starting things, if I can show you, right? So I have, you see a pattern emerging on probably all of the pages in my book of me not finishing one page and then moving on to another one. And one of the challenges for me daily that I'm trying to get out of is, starting task and then moving on to another task. Like I got ADD, right? Before I finish the task that I started. So my daily goal is to try and finish these pages one at a time because I realize that it's very telling of my daily life, right? Of starting tasks. And even though I get it done, I do end up creating more anxiety and stress on myself by seeing all of these things that are not completed and then having to go back and finish things that had I finished what I started, it might have helped me to be complete the task at the end of the day instead of going back and filling in holes and spaces that I never completed. So I want to encourage you to do something daily. So I have a coloring book. Another thing in my daily routine is I have the chronological study Bible, and this is the NLT version. It helps you to go to the Bible in the order that events actually occurred. So this is a great way, and they also do have it on the U version Bible app too, to complete the Bible in 1 year. And I think you still have time to catch up if you haven't done that. Reading your Bible app daily, all those things are a good way to get some daily habits in. Weekly may look like maybe Bible study that you attend, a women's group, a men's group, a prayer group, um, how many times a week you actually work out or take a walk out in nature or tending to your garden or spending time with your family. My kids and I do movie night every Friday. That's a weekly routine that without fail, we're going to make sure we get a movie in that week. Usually on Fridays, but if something's going on with ministry or something and we can't make it, definitely try to do it during the weekend. Cleaning, right, may be something that you do once a week as far as like deep cleaning and vacuuming and the laundry. If you can't get to it every day, but you try to make sure that top to bottom, cleaning out the refrigerator, you're doing some weekly routines with cleaning, right? So it helps you to get more structure. I want you to write these things down so you can see it, right? Monthly maybe you get a manicure, you get a pedicure, you go date night with your spouse, you go out with a friend, you pick a first Friday of every month, right? That you go out and have lunch with one of your girlfriends, one of your guy friends, you go to the courts, you play ball, but want to make sure that you see what you're doing. Yearly may look like a time of the year where you like to take vacation time, is that you put that on the calendar in advance, right? So I'm put in for Christmas already, it's off my calendar already, right? Because during the holiday season, I really look forward to spending that time with my children and my family. So it's already off the calendar. So I want you to structure your days and your weeks, your months, and your year. See what it is that you're doing because a lot of times we have these yearly goals, but then we don't put it in a way that we are measuring what we're actually doing. So if you're someone who, like we talked about earlier, wants to lose weight, what are your daily habits, right? So now that we're in the Lent season, for example, one of the things that I recognize is that I'm feeling much better cutting out all processed foods during the week and on Sundays, because that's our day to have rest, is that I realize that if I could keep that up consistently, that I don't snack every day and maybe I have one day of the week where it's your rest day and I can treat myself, and not go crazy, but that may help me by the end of the year to meet some of my weight loss goals or incorporating more water intake into my day. And how many people, have tried to create daily lifestyle habits that are sustainable, that by the end of the year they're like, oh my gosh, I lost 12 pounds. I wasn't even trying. But because you have this daily habit of doing things that are more sustainable, it helps you to reach your goals. So we have to be disciplined, right? We have to find ways to be more disciplined. So you probably need to sit and think about what your daily habits look like, what your weekly habits are looking like, and then put some things in place because of many of us, right? Me included, and I'm working on that, right? Being more structured, being more disciplined, are spending money, very inappropriately, and we're talking about why we can't save, but we are door dashing like crazy. I've seen women that I've had in therapy over the years who, are like, Miss Tiff, I'm really struggling financially, but there's not a session that I've had with them where the nails weren't done, the hair wasn't weaved out, and I know they're spending a good $500 a month on on their outer appearance and on Netflix or their apps and subscriptions and things like that, that they need to, if you're struggling financially, we have to make some sacrifices. So I want you to think about ways that you can make some sacrifices. This is a call to action, right? Because yeah, it's hard for you to see sustainable change if you're not willing to make some changes. So you have to, we all do. We have to think about where there are holes and, you know, fix it. Okay. All right. So I wanted to leave that with you today. This video was much longer than I really wanted them to be. So, but I do want you to sit and actually put some things in place to help you to be more intentional and more disciplined. And let me know how you're doing. Right. So talk to me in the comment section. Share some ideas with others on what you're doing that is healthy and that is working. And maybe we can give each other some support and reaching our goals, right? So that we know that we're not doing it alone, and we have community and we help support one another on the journey. All right. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Please again like, subscribe, share, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.